What is up, guys? Today we're gonna be...
You fools thought I was gone forever. Now that I have returned from the abyss, I will ravage the TCG like the days of old. Like the days of goats.
YugiNoNo! Prepare! So today, through the magic of technology, I am joined by DAVINATOR1212. And we have put our heads together and created a monstrosity of a deck.
Yeah, heads together.
Relinquished is actually my favorite card of all time, and it's also one of Dave's.
Pegasus played it in the original anime, and it was such a badass card.
So we have tried several times in the past to create a functioning Relinquished deck, and I'm so happy to say that we have finally succeeded.
So this is Relinquished utilizing the Kaiju engine. Relinquished has amazing synergy with Kaijus because Kaijus can just get rid of your opponent's monsters, and then Relinquished can just suck them back up and gain their attack.
The Kaiju engine also adds a lot of plays to the deck, especially with Gamer Cell, which can negate and banish anything your opponent activates. It can literally be a win condition all on its own. The Kaijus also add a lot of consistency to the deck because of the waterfront being able to search monsters, and then you can run triple trade-in because like most of the Kaijus are level 8. Not to mention Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which is just a broken card.
First up, we play 2 Jizakira, the Star-Destroying Kaiju. He's the big beat stick of the deck, and a lot of times you're just sucking him up with Relinquished. However, his effect does spend 3 of the Kaiju counters in order to negate any targeting effect, and then you can just destroy any other card on the field. So there's some interesting combos with him and Kaiju Capture Mission, which we'll talk about later. Next up is Dagoron, the Mad Flame Kaiju. He's the one you traditionally give your opponent because he does not have a quick effect like every other Kaiju on the list, so he's pretty safe to give your opponent, especially if you have Waterfront with Kaiju counters on board. Next up is Gadarla, the Mysterious Dust Kaiju. Basically, this one can spend 3 counters to half the attack of all monsters on the field, so it's really neat in the Cosmo matchup. But the last Kaiju you play is 3 Gamecill, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. He's probably the best one in the deck and the win condition, because for 2 counters, he can negate any card effect and banish that card, which makes him extremely useful against Pendulums and Monarchs, because banishing their resources makes them completely useless to those decks, and they just can't do anything with them, and it completely stalls their play.
And then the deck goes 3 Manju, of course, because that gets a ritual monster or a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and Manju works when it's normal summoned or flip summoned, which leads us to our next card, Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi can set Manju so you can flip it back up and get another surge, but the real reason why we added it is because you can set Relinquished and then flip Relinquished and then take another one of your opponent's monsters. And not only that, but Tsukiyomi can set like a Monarch and then swing over the Monarchs as well. And then of course we play the 3 Relinquished. And we were playing 1 Preparation of Rites and 3 pre-prep, but after playing the 3 pre-prep and you know, all the draw power and the Manjus, like Preparation of Rites was just so dead. Pre-prep is just so much better in this specific deck. You just go +1, you instantly add Relinquished and its ritual spell from your deck to your hand. It's just really broken. And then of course moving on, we played the 3 Black Illusion Ritual, and then we played the 3 Instant Fusion because Instant Fusion gets out Norden, which allows you to go into your rank 4 plays, but it also gets out Thousand Eyes Restrict, which allows you to take an opponent's monster.
And for the Kaiju spells, we play 3 of the Waterfront because that basically gives all of our searches for our Kaijus as well as activates their effects. So that's pretty much required for the deck, which is also why we play 2 Terraforming. And the entire reason why we are playing the Kaijus is so that we can suck them up with Relinquished, so we might as well use Trade-In because they're all level 8. You could use some of the level 7s, but by having them all be level 8 except Jizakiru, we get some synergy with the draw engine as well, so you can kind of get the whole deck kind of moving. So you search your draw pieces and you search the things you want to throw at your opponent. The last 3 spells we want to talk about as far as the Kaiju engine is concerned are the Kaiju Interrupted Slumber. Really great card. This thing is a giant dark hole Rhoda, I guess kind of like last turn card. It's really crazy amalgamation of a bunch of different stuff. Basically destroys all monsters on the board as much as you can, and if you do, you summon a Kaiju to each side of the field. They have to fight because they have to battle. It's the Let Them Fight card, and you can next turn banish this card from your graveyard in order to search a Kaiju monster. So basically this thing can get you tons of counters if you have Waterfront on board. If it just nukes the board, gives you each a Kaiju, and you set the Kaiju up that you want, then you just play Relinquished and suck up their Kaiju, so you have a big Relinquished, and you have, you know, probably Gamecill with a full Waterfront, and you just completely destroy your opponent. And last up is the only trap we're playing in the main deck, and that is Kaiju Capture Mission. If your opponent destroys this card by card effects, you can draw 2 cards, but it also has some function with the deck other than a draw card, because it is a Book of Moon for Kaijus. Once per turn, you can Book of Moon one kaiju and it gains a kaiju counter. Those kaiju counters can be spent, so it's another source of counters, which makes Gamma Cell even stronger. As well as you can combo with Jizakura, like I said earlier, by Bookamooning a kaiju and him negating it and then targeting another card on the field and destroying it. So you can set off Jizakura all you want. That's a really fun little combo. Plus, if you give your opponent to Goron, you can use Kaiju Capture Mission to set it and run it over with Gamma Cell because Dagoron is probably the weakest one in defense mode.
And to the extra deck, our instant fusion targets are of course Thousand Eyes Restrict and Norden. And then we play one Wind-Up Zenmeister, which is like a rank 4 Tsukiyomi. You get to set one of your monsters. And then one Giant Hand, one Heartland Draco, and then we play one Ragna Zero, which actually has synergy with Mothra. And then one Daigetsu Emerald, so you can get those instant fusion targets or your Kaijus back into your deck. And then we play the one Utopia, the one Prime, and the one Lightning. We play the Prime just because we have so much room in the extra deck, and it's nice to be able to use Lightning twice. And then for the rest of the staples, you just play one Honor Arc, one Castell, one Wolf, one Dweller, and one Cowboy.
As far as the side deck is concerned, we just threw something together. Something that really shuts down the Kaiju engine is Mask of Restrict, and people just happen to be siding it because of Monarchs, so we decided that Trap Eater might be kind of fun. It's a level 4, so it kind of synergizes with all of your instant fusion shenanigans, so that's kind of cool. Plus, if you wanted to play Synchros in your extra deck, it would give you that option, so that's kind of fun. The Regeki Double Dark Hole is to deal with Vanity's Fiend, because that single-handedly shuts down the entire deck, so we want to make sure we have options for that. The 3 Twin Twister deal with back row heavy decks as well as pendulums and just whatever the hell else you want to use Twin Twister for. Grisalia Prison at 3, it's a fun little trap card as long as you control a fusion summoned, tribute summoned, or ritual summoned monster. In this case it's a ritual summoned Relinquished. Synchro and XYZ monsters effects are negated and they cannot attack, which means, you know, a really big Relinquished might be subject to something like Ignister, so you can just be like, nah, Grisalia Prison, blah, and it's really kind of fun. It's no one sees it coming. It's a cool little card. Last but not least, 3 Solemn Scolding, fun little trap card. We don't really play many traps. The only one in the deck is Kaiju Capture Mission. That won't spend much time face down, so it's not a bad trap, and we don't spend any life points to do anything, and it gives us a little extra coverage on Gamma Cell. Just an all-around great trap card.
Alright guys, we really hope that you enjoyed this deck profile. Please feel free to toy around with it and make it your own. I am just so happy that we have enough support now to make a functioning, playable Relinquished deck.
And remember to check out my channel for more Kaiju deck ideas, as well as some other stuff you guys might like.
And as always, if you like this video, then dick slap that like button and subscribe.
Subscribe!